We have the tendency to make assumptions about everything. The problem with making assumptions is that we believe they are the truth. Here is where the four agreements really starts to build on one another. They are cumulative, not comprehensive. Welcome back, everybody. If you've been following along, this is the third video in a series about the four agreements of ancient Toltec wisdom. The first agreement was be impeccable with your word. The second agreement was don't take things personally. And now we're at the third agreement. Don't make assumptions. Taken individually, each one of the four agreements has weight, but when they're put together, they net an explosive impact. Remember that, as some of the dialogue will start to get repetitive at this point, but it's that way by design. Some things just need to be reiterated a bunch of times before we listen to it and internalize it in these thick skulls of ours. So, all the sadness and drama you have lived in your life was rooted in making assumptions and taking things personally. Remember the first agreement? Be impeccable with your word. In that video, we talked about gossip being the worst violation of the first agreement. How often have you found yourself gossiping about an assumption that you made, talking a bunch of shit about someone else, only to find that you were entirely off base about their motivations? How much poison did you create in the process? How much of your own made-up fantasy did you take personally? Now you've violated the first, second, and third agreements. And then the cycle repeats itself, and it's like a really sad thing when the cycle repeats itself. We gossip because we're afraid of asking clarifying questions. It's a travesty of our human nature, this tendency to not ask a question out of fear and make an assumption instead. We're only hurting ourselves and other people too. This brings me back to a concept in the introductory chapter of the book that I haven't brought up yet. It's the mitote, or our personal dream of life. What we believe, the concepts we believe about ourselves, the agreements that we have made with ourselves, with others, or even God. To the Toltecs, our entire lives are lived within the fog of the mitote. And it is our choice to be free or stay imprisoned within our own mental construct. When we make assumptions, when we take things personally, and when we're not impeccable with our word, we trap ourselves in a living hell. As Don Miguel Ruiz puts it, if you consider hell as a state of mind, then hell is all around us. We only see what we want to see, and we only hear what we want to hear. We are literally dreaming things up. We are literally dreaming things up in our imagination that have no basis in reality. How silly of us. It's not rocket science. It's rather simple, actually. Neuroscience and psychology can convince us to listen for a little bit longer, but ultimately we have to accept the wisdom for what it is. No science is ever going to make something truer than it already is. Another statement about making assumptions that couldn't be closer to hitting home is this. It is not important if the answer is correct, just the answer itself makes us feel safe. That is why we make assumptions. We make assumptions because assumptions make us feel safe. We live in fear and use assumptions as a defense mechanism against the questions that we're afraid to ask. This is simple social conditioning, and it does have a solution. It does have a solution. Simply make the decision to act differently, then start acting differently, then make that behavior a habit. And you will find that living authentically in this way is a whole lot more fulfilling than living in fear. Another absolutely dumb thing that we do is make the assumption that everyone else sees the world the way we do. I mean, we all have enough life experience to know that that isn't true, but we go out and act in the world as if it is, expecting and assuming other people around us to meet our every need, and then getting upset when they don't deliver, absolving our own responsibility in that equation and punting it off to someone else. Then we make the decision that they won't succeed no matter what decision they make, no matter how well or not well that they perform in meeting that need of ours. It's asinine, really. And it's our own party foul. It's our own party foul that stems directly from us making assumptions. The only one that can fix it is ourselves. The only one that can fix it is you. It's our responsibility. It's your responsibility. No one else's. That's the essence of the third agreement. Don't make assumptions. Don't expect everyone else to meet your needs all the time. Ask questions. Be clear. Don't listen to that social conditioning that makes you live in fear of doing those kind of things. And your place in the world, your interactions in the world will get better, and so will people around you. Just take some time to internalize that. That is the third agreement, and that's it for this video. Next week, we'll be talking about the fourth agreement, which is always do your best. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but it's a lot more applicable than sounds on the surface. Please like and subscribe. I hope to see you there next week, and I will see you on the next one.